Secrets of the Baal. The Baal, also known as the Night Lords, are the ultimate enemies of humankind. What motivates them? Or more pragmatically, what are their weaknesses and where does their power come from? Many who oppose the Baal have searched for the answers to these questions but have only been partially successful. Ancient origins. All that is known about the origins of the Night Lords can be found in the writings of the Dark, ancient documents dealing with the lands of the night and their rulers. The most widely believed account is that the Baal were once human, that they were magicians and or priests in an ancient culture that flourished sometime between 12,000 and 10,000 BCE, and that at some point they switched allegiance from their traditional powers to some strange force or entity referred to as the Dark, also known as the ruler of darkness or the being who is the Dark. Whether or not there is a connection between the Dark and the entity said to have destroyed the lost race in the pre-Baal Nightlands remains unknown, but most students of the occult do not believe in coincidences. Among the consequences of their pact or deal with the Dark, the Baal started resorting to human sacrifice. Other sources claim that the Night Lords used human sacrifices before their pact with the Dark, which only happened after the Great War. The arguments about which is right seem to go on endlessly. These practices and apparently the cruel and unjust rule of the Baal eventually prompted a major revolt which culminated in the Great War. The Great War. Modern mages and occultists have a number of theories about the war that drove the Night Lords off the earth, but only have vague and inconclusive evidence to prove any of it. According to the Wanderer Diaries, the Baal were defeated by an alliance of human sorcerers and the Guardians. Some other accounts seem to give the Guardians more credit than others. A few of these tales also suggest that the Guardians came down from the sky in strange vessels and brought skyfire down on the cities of the Night Lords. A few believers in ancient astronauts and other ufologists claim that these writings prove that the Guardians are extraterrestrials who came to Earth and became embroiled in a planetary war, pitting their technology and psychic powers against the Night Lord's control over matter and energy. Others claim that the accounts could easily refer to magic vessels that have nothing to do with alien visitors from another planet. A third party, made up of people who know the Guardians and seem to be active in the astral plane, think that the Guardians came from the astral plane, not the far reaches of space. In any case, the Guardians stood side by side with the gathered armies of the few remaining independent kingdoms. It is believed that a number of early civilizations, perhaps the precursors of the Sumerian and Egyptian civilizations, were destroyed in the ensuing conflict. The destruction must have been so total that no archaeological remnants of these cultures have been found. A few scholars believe that the war against the Baal was so devastating that human civilization as a whole was set back thousands of years. The Great War may be the only reason it took so long for new cultures to rise from its ashes. The date of the Great War cannot be determined with any accuracy. The Night Lords are perhaps the only beings still alive who could report when it occurred, and they rarely speak of it. The best estimates place it somewhere between 12,000 and 10,000 BCE, before the Christian era, making the war seem 12,000 to 14,000 years old. A few of the most imaginative arcanists and scholars of ancient civilizations believe that the war lasted from 12,000 to 10,000 BCE, 2,000 years of warfare. The next civilization rose again on Earth around 7,000 BCE in the same region. For thousands of years, the descendants of city builders had been forced to live as nomads or subsist as farmers. Exile to the Nightlands. The defeat of the Baal led them to the Nightlands. Apparently, the Dark granted the Night Lords special powers and helped guide them to the lands of night. Other accounts suggest the Baal made contact with the Dark after reaching the Nightlands. By crossing over, the Night Lords were changed even further than they may have already been. They lost some of their abilities to summon extra-dimensional beings, what most would call demons, but gained many new minions, like the Hounds and Hunters. Many students of the Nightlands believe this was accomplished by transforming and enslaving the beings known as the Formless Ones. Current goals. Briefing room, beachhead, somewhere in the Nightlands. The first thing one must know about an enemy, Major Gordon began in a dry tone, is to discover what his goals and objectives are. The first thing we must then do is to deny them those objectives. Lieutenant Masters raised her hand. Sir, that is basic doctrine. Do you know what the goals of the Night Lords are? According to the guys up in intelligence, nervous chuckles broke out among the gathered soldiers. Anything that came out of intelligence was suspect. The Night Lords seek the destruction of every man, woman, and child on this planet. Lieutenant Master swallowed hard. That's one hell of an objective, sir. You said it, soldier. Nobody is sure exactly what the Night Lords seek to accomplish with their invasion. It even appears that some, perhaps even most, of the Night Lords are not sure themselves. However, many in the know, both human and Nightbanes, have strong suspicions, and none of them are positive ones. The least pessimistic possibility is that the Night Lords wish to turn all humans into slaves and playthings to satisfy their unearthly hungers and base cravings. Numerous intelligence reports confirm that many Baal believe conquest and slavery is their objective. However, some of the policies and actions pursued by King Moloch and the top Night Lord leaders suggest this is not the case. Perhaps Moloch is deceiving his own people. The most likely scenario, given information gathered by Nightbane sorcerers and spies, is that the Baal, or at least their leaders, are bent upon the eradication of all human life on Earth. One of the biggest fears is that of the destruction of humankind is their final goal. By taking over the governments of almost every nation on Earth, the Night Lords already have the means to achieve their end. The Night Lords are in control of the nuclear arsenals of every nation on the planet. Yet if this is the case, why haven't they started a nuclear exchange? The real answer? A renegade doppelganger warlord called Hakim, now working for the Resistance, claims he has the answer. According to Hakim, the Night Lords observed with great interest the bombing of the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of the World War II. The physical effects of the bombs are well known. The mystical consequences aren't. In the Nightlands, the city-states of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were utterly devastated. Apparently, the sudden deaths of tens of thousands of people released a wave of psychic energy that killed every being in the equivalent Nightland cities, including the Night Lords themselves. Furthermore, great dimensional disturbances were noted both on Earth and the Nightlands. Dimensional rifts opened at random, bringing creatures and peoples from other parts of the Megaverse, including some very powerful alien entities. It took the Night Lords several years to contain and destroy the horde of intruders that arrived as a result of the atomic explosions. The Night Lords now realize that killing millions of humans at the same time would unleash a psychic cataclysm that would obliterate them all, as well as the hated humans and Nightbanes. Much as they despise humankind, the Baal do not want to be destroyed alongside it. So, for the time being, using nuclear weapons is out of the question. Killing people slowly, however, has no ill effect. The psychic energies released are easily absorbed and contained by the environment. Although energy along ley lines ebb and flow, gradual genocide rather than a nuclear holocaust has been determined to be the way to go. And the Night Lords can afford to be patient if it takes them several centuries to eradicate humankind from the face of the earth, so be it. Meanwhile, they make amusing slaves, pawns, and playthings. True power behind the Night Lords. Arcanists and supernatural experts know the name of the entity that rules the Night Lords, the Dark, but nobody knows exactly who or what the Dark is, what its goals are, and why it does what it does. The following are some of the most common speculations and possibilities. Game masters can decide which, if any, are true. The Dark is some sort of alien intelligence of great power, and it requires the energy released by millions of humans to awaken, break free from a prison, or grow more powerful. The Dark is utterly alien to human comprehension. It exists and apparently does not want anything to exist. It has tricked the Night Lords into its service and eventually will dispose of them after they have fulfilled their mission. The Dark hates the existence of everything in creation. Perhaps it wants to be the only thing that exists. The Dark is not a creature, but a force, a mindless form of negative energy that feeds on pain and death. By worshipping it, the Night Lords have become powerful, but most continue to commit more and greater crimes to keep the force satisfied. The Dark is the opposite of the Formless Ones. Where the Formless Ones represent endless change and possibilities, the Dark is embodiment of static nothingness. Once all life is gone, the Dark will be fulfilled, for no change or entropy will continue to bother it.